You guys will not believe what came with the property. Okay, I don't know if I've done any other videos before this one, but if I haven't, welcome to our new workspace we have here. Everything over here is not mine. I'm gonna try not to show much of it on camera, but we've moved recently and, well, I've got my own little space to work with here. It's still heavily work in progress because I have a whole bunch of plans for this. I'll talk about this maybe in a future video, but that's not our focus today. Of course, try to be here safely, but you may have noticed this guy in the opener. So when we first moved here, I looked in the side of the yard and I found this rolling frame just sitting there. And I asked the landlord if I could keep it, and well, lo and behold, we were able to keep it. So I've done a little bit of research on this so far, and if you look at the manufacturing tag right here, you can see that it is a 2007, oh, come on. Okay, you can see that it's a TaoTao Chinese ATV, it's an ATA 110, but I'm just trying to point to the date. You can't really see it, but it's a 2007 model. And here's about what I know so far. The frame, as you currently see, is in pretty much decent condition. I've inspected it and I haven't seen any crazy cracks or rust or frames in there. I did notice, however, that there was missing a front rack here, and the front bumper looks to be bent. So my guess is the previous owner must have wrecked it and parked it to the side, and it just sat there. I sat on it, and the suspension is working pretty good, both front and rear. None of the axles were bent, and that was that. The tires are 16 by 8-7, and only 1 out of the 4 were successfully able to hold air. This guy right here was the good one. That one right there has a slow air leak. This one also has a slow air leak, and there's one below it that I couldn't seal because it's hissing out air on the sidewalls. The tires are rotten pretty badly, so they're not good. I checked every single rim, and they're actually in pretty good condition. All you can see here is probably just some surface rust, and but I did not see any visual cracks whatsoever. Because it was a TaoTao, it must have had a 110cc engine. I don't know if it was an automatic or reverse. I did not come up the engine, but you can see here I had some leftover bits of wiring. I think this is the alarm system, and that's maybe a voltage regulator of some sort. I'm not too sure though. Thankfully, the rear axle is not bent and is in good condition. This sprocket right here is a 37.2 for 420 chain, but I bought some 40 chain that will fit on it just nicely. Also, additionally, the rear brake is a hydraulic. This is actually this is a replacement I bought off of Amazon. The rear caliper was this was with the frame, and it's in pretty good condition. This caliper is already pre-bled. There we go. It's pre-bled, and there's already some fresh pads on it. I got to break it in once we get going on this project. The front brakes are also in good condition too. I have them off right now, but they are front drums, and they're hooked up to this new brake lever that I bought too. It's a 2-in-1, or it controls both front brakes, and I also have the twist throttle and a brake switch somewhere here, or a camera brake switch. We might wire this guy up later. Also, to quickly clarify that it did come with, or I did have the old brake levers here. This was the front lever. It's in okay condition, but the problem is we're missing the top plate for the throttle. The brake light switch is cut, and this lever was working just fine. The rear brake system, I think, is missing fluid. The reservoir is empty, and it's not really returning any pressure or whatnot. So I think the whole system was toast, which is why I replaced it. This plastic right here is the only remaining bit of body mold left. Everything else you see as is here is as is. The handlebar clamps I bought separately because there was no way to mount the handlebars on here, so this is actually a good step in progress. You may have noticed that the front left spindle was missing. So this is the front left spindle and spindle arm. It is unfortunately seized. This lower piece here is supposed to freely rotate, and this mounts to the upper A-arm, I think. Yeah, it mounts to the upper A-arm, but it doesn't steer, which is why my steering was not moving. As soon as I took this off, check this out. I'm able to steer it now. that spindle armor is pretty good. All the tie rods look okay. Any bolt nuts I've taken off, I removed the cotter pins. I'm going to plan to replace them. I might as well show you the front wheel bearings too while I'm at it. This is the front left. Got some surface rust. Looks like this is the brake on the inside. Bearings could probably be lubed, but they do rotate just fine. And then we have the front right wheel bearing. Similar issues. Probably could clean it up and still use it, but they don't wobble or they don't have any problems rotating. The swing arm bolt I had to find a nut for because I was taking it in here and noticed that there wasn't a nut and it almost slipped out, but I replaced it with a lock washer or a washer and a nylon nut and everything's good to go. And then there's the exhaust. It's got some really bad surface rust, but as far as my eyes can tell, I don't see any cracks or holes in the exhaust. So I might be able to adapt this with what the plans are going to be using. I am going to want to clean this up though, because this is actually pretty bad. I might need to have the door open and the respirator on first before I even think about cleaning this. And if I try to sit in it, if I had a seat, this would be more comfortable. And this is how it feels sitting in it. Knees stick out a little bit backwards, but I think this was meant for a younger rider, but I fit on it quite comfortably actually. Well, I say that and yet I don't have a seat, but I think we can honestly make this work as a new project. So, welcome to the Road to Restoration Season 2. Alright, so yeah, we have our handlebars here. I've already went ahead, as I mentioned, I mounted the new rear hydraulic disc brake here. It's already pretty bled and everything, and it locks up the brakes. I've got a parking brake here, which is pretty cool. And then I hooked up the old cables with this system, and just to demonstrate here, if you look at the drum assembly here, I'm going to press the lever. They're working just fine. Let's see, where's the other one? Here's the other one. So the cables are still in tension, and it's retracting this just fine. The brakes worked pretty good. With the old lever I had on here, the brakes were actually working not too bad with just the front ones before I took everything apart. I went ahead and thanks to Go Power Sports at BMI Carts at Amazon for some of these parts. I got these clamps from Go Power Sports, which I'll put down in the description. I got this from BMI Carts, put that link in the description. And then this kit was off of Amazon. So it's a universal kit, it's pre-bled, and it fits most Chinese ATVs, 125, 110s, you name it. And there's that. So now let's talk plans for this bike, ATV. I'm used to saying bike and trike, but now I have something with 4 wheels. It's pretty ironic actually, because I wanted to challenge myself and build a made from scratch like rat rod go-kart, like with a wheelbarrow bucket, so it's like a T-bucket go-kart. I also wanted a mini bike at the same time, but if we can get it going, we have to kill 2 birds with 1 stone for the time being. Plus I gotta get the pedal car in here, and well, there's barely room, but we can still accommodate. The engine is missing, and I wanted to actually try and swap a Predator 212 on it. Now, I also wanted to invest in a better engine for the drift trike long term, and I thought I really don't want to take this engine off and then decommission this project, but at the same time, like I said, I want to invest in a Tillotson 212 for this trike down the road. And Harbor Freight's all out of Predator 212. There's a nationwide shortage right now, which is kind of scary. So we are literally going to take, down in a future episode, we will take this Predator 212, disconnected from the trike, and take all the wiring for the electronic start, and then transfer it over here. I want to try to clean up and maybe have a separate key, like a toggle key, and then a push button start, which would be kind of cool. But leave the wiring for the head and tail lights obviously on this, and just try to harness the electric start. Definitely gonna need some new tires. I went around on BMI Carts, Go Power Sports, and Walmart actually has a set of 4 for about $133, I think, which I wanna try and save this header and air filter for the new Tillotson. Same thing with the chain guard, which is why we could take that air filter actually, but which is why I have some extra parts over here. I bought this header flange to try to adapt this muffler on if we can try to use it. This was part of the old brakes here. We have a stage 1 air filter kit right here. That's brand new in its box. It's red filter. It comes with the jet, the gaskets, and the K&N style air filter and the chokehold bracket. I'm debating between a torque converter and a clutch right now because with that gear, the 37 teeth and then these tires, honestly, we're gonna be looking at a very tall gear ratio, about 45 miles an hour, and this clutch is going to burn. But at the same time, I still kind of want to test it, just briefly see how it works out, and maybe convert over to a torque converter or adapt a bigger sprocket, which that might be the route I go on, just for the sake of, you know, driveline lossage when using belts and stuff. I have 5 feet of 41 chain to go from that rear sprocket to the clutch whenever we are ready, and a new chain breaker for our 2, works with 35 chain, by the way, GoPowersports.com. Close that out of the way. Got this guy here, courtesy of BeMyCarps.com. It has the little tabs here, which makes it really easy to mount the engine with here. So we set that in there. The little lips line up with this pipe, and they also line up a little bit here and a little bit here, providing a lot of good contact surface to weld. So it's gonna look something like this. Just picture a 212 there. We're gonna have to take out the gas tank, obviously, and I'm thinking of temporarily relocating here. I don't know how I feel about using that gas tank with this frame, just because of aesthetics and stuff. I'd rather maybe use an ATV gas tank, but just for testing purposes, we'll go ahead and use it for now. I might also, if I am also going to be running the clutch and sprocket, I might have to use a chain tensioner, which is where this thing comes in. I was going to keep this for the trike, but I might have to be using it for the ATV anyway because, well, we're decommissioning this. This literally came out of a scrapped dryer. I think it's how it tensions the belt when it rotates the big drum and whatnot. And I'm thinking, hey, this could be a good chain tensioner if I, you know, cut off bits that I don't need here, and then I'm just left with this guy here, which is quite nice. I mean, if you picture it right under here, it can tension that chain pretty nicely. And I'm, again, sorry for the poor light, but hopefully you can see that. So we can honestly use this, recycle it, and put it some way somehow on this frame. Not too sure yet, but we'll see how that pans out. Long term, we might try to fix this bumper alignment and maybe add a new rack, maybe one from scratch, because it looks like we have some mounting points here, here, and here for our rack. I'm not too sure. And because we have the opportunity to also wire in brake lights, we might take this and the other switch that's on here, excuse me, wire up a brake light in the back and have maybe an LED light up front. Because I really would like to have this as like an adventure quad with the drift trike. Because if, you know, if I've got we're camping with my buddies or whatnot, we can have a secondary vehicle now. We already had the drift trike once it gets a new engine later on, and now we have this, which is kind of cool. I'm pretty excited. Now, I apologize if this episode's a little short anyway, because literally there's not much I can really do given the current condition that it's in, and I'm just trying to save up my money right now to get parts for it. I mean, obviously now I need to locate a new set of spindles and a spindle arm for that, and I might as well replace that because all the parts I've seen online so far come in kits, so it probably wouldn't hurt to replace both of them. We'll see. I'm not too sure yet. So yeah, folks, if you're looking forward to this restoration of this 2007 TaoTao ATV, go ahead and give yourself a comment, or comment down below that you're excited. Smash the subscribe button because I'll be making more videos down in the future about this. Smash the like button, and I guess that's it, honestly. My name's Caden and Ihawk, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out for now.